Thursday, welcome and glad you're here with us. We're almost at the end of this week, and we will have discovered all new things about COVID and had all kind of new standards and all of that. But I'm ranting, and that's not why you tuned in. Now, you remember when you let your kids kind of do some things on their own? You regret it, don't you? Yeah, there was a little thing when the kids said, "Hey, I'm ready to do this all by myself," and you let them. And we've all got disaster stories, like the time they were going to run their own bath water, and they forgot to turn off the bath water, or it was too hot or too cold, and so they kept adding more and more bath water until they had poured bath water all in the tub, all over the floor, and all down the hall. You know, it's hard to understand, and it's hard to help little kids understand that the tub only holds so much water. After that, if you don't let it out the drain, it goes over the top. That same little physics lessons that we all had to learn as kids, we need to constantly be reminded of as Christ followers. We cannot hold all that Christ wants to give us. As he pours himself into us, we become like a thimble trying to hold the ocean. We're always got more water. There's always too much. We're always sloshing over, spilling. And that is what we call ministry, when the presence of Christ in you sloshes over into the lives of other people. That's ministry. That's how that happens. But what we're talking about in the Christ life, in the following of Christ, is this constant thing, this constant stream of him flowing into you. It's all of those symbols we use in Scripture. There's the river that flows from the throne of God. There is baptism, where you are buried in that river symbolically and raised up to new life, and that flow keeps on going from the throne of God into your life. Now, when that happens, you're expecting it to all be joy and bliss. Yes, Christ is filling my life, and that happens, but first it's a little messy. All of us have stuff stuck to the inside of our souls. And it's gunk that we have pressed down and hidden from for a long time. If you have ever looked at the inside of a pipe, there's all kind of sediment, dirt, and everything else that gets inside that pipe that will eventually clog it up. Fatty deposits can get into the arteries of your heart, and it can clog it up, and it causes a heart attack, and the same kind of thing. As Christ begins to pump himself into you, it forces all of that stuff off the sides of your soul. It washes it out. Now, the bad moment is when it floats to the top and goes by your face on the way out of your soul. Because this is stuff that you're ashamed of, embarrassed by, don't want anybody else to know. And here Christ is bringing it up to you one more time. I used to struggle with this a long time because, see, when I pray, Lord, help me with this problem, what I want Jesus to do is grab me and throw me on the other side of the problem. I want to look back and go, wow, that was close. That's not what Jesus does. What Jesus does when you pray about a problem is he takes you right to the problem. He didn't take you around it, doesn't take you over it. The Hebrew children went through the Red Sea. Jesus went through death to the resurrection. There are no shortcuts. You go right through it. Here's why. Jesus takes you to face whatever you're afraid of so that you're never afraid of it again. So that you face it, deal with it, put it aside, forgive it, release it, whatever you need to do, and you're never afraid of it again. So when someone comes up to you and says, hey, aren't you the one who did that? And you go, yeah, that was me. Not my proudest moment, but let me tell you what's happened in my life since then. See? That's what Jesus will do for you. He takes every little piece, and says, hey, remember this? You're forgiven. I don't want it to embarrass you anymore. Remember this pain? I want to heal you of it. I don't want you wounded by that anymore. On and on it will go until there's nothing flowing in your soul but him, nothing flowing through your life but him. So if you're beginning this process of letting Christ fill your life, let me give you a warning. He's going to flush up some stuff you don't want to see. Don't panic. It's all part of his process of healing you. Trust him. Sit with him while he reminds you of this. Remember how he forgave you. Remember how he rescued you. Remember how he healed you. And that'll lead you to the last thing we're going to talk about on Friday, which is anyone who brags has to brag on Jesus. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Take about 60 seconds to think about the things that Jesus is dealing with you now, and I'll see you tomorrow.